J-O-E in the place to be. HB on the track, it's like ecstasy. Rolling a well of 7 years, what we drinking be. Trying to sling the dopest rhymes in the galaxy. Let me take a minute though and relax your mind. Sometimes these words can be hard to find. 24/7 on that daily grind. Hearing voices in my head, man, they not that kind. Cause bitches be bitching, snitches keep snitching. The world keeps turning, and I keep hitching a ride. Instead of living my life. Yo, 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 yo.
Man, when you feel hungry, don't you have to eat?
Yo, yo, pump up the volume and digest this beat.
RapScallions in the house with this lyrical treat.
When we're done with you, you're gonna ice your feet.
If the world ends tomorrow and you had one chance,
Hey, yo, would you start to move like it's your last dance?
yo, do something small in the past and present changes.
Do something now, the future rearranges.
Cause bitches keep bitching.
Yo, snitches keep snitching.
The world keeps turning.
And you start living your life instead of hitching a ride. RapScallions. J-O-E in the place to be. HB.
Welcome, everyone. This is Rapping with RapScallions, episode 43, Cuatro Tres, and we're going to get bananas on this show. You're going to learn a lot of stuff. Episode 43 is all about bananas, and you think, oh, bananas are so good for you. They're such a delicious breakfast treat. But guess what? There is a past and a history to bananas that you can't even imagine. Your head is going to explode, and the only way to cure it is with a healthy dose of RapScallions. With me, as always, Jose Mesquita, a.k.a. Joe Bananas.
What's up, Banana B? Oh, that could be your name.
Banana B.
Banana B. Man, I had no idea. Yo, my mind has been blown this week from all the reading that we have been doing about the history of bananas, man. Like, I always thought bananas were this wholesome fruit that you ate, you know, on the daily just because it's so delicious. It's like nature's perfect fruit. But for breakfast, you know, your smoothies or whatever. But I mean, this week, just reading into it, man, bananas have a dark past.
Dark.
Darks.
Darks.
Hashtag darks, like the children's say.
Yes,
Hashtag
right.
Dark. But I'm looking forward to going through that with you today. Hopefully we'll have enough time. If not, we can always continue next week, man, because it's just so much information. So much information about bananas out there, man. So much incredible information about the ways that bananas helped to shape the world. That's right, the world.
Yeah, and Panama too.
Panama too.
And we want to make a big disclaimer right now. We're just going to scratch the surface. We want to pique your interest. So the next time you have a banana split, you'll look at it and you'll see dead bodies.
Yes.
Just kidding. We're going to get into it. Big disclaimer. We're just scratching the surface. We don't know everything. There's so much information out there. This is going to be your banana primer. So without further ado, Joe, let's kick off the Rapping with RapScallions weekly wrap up. How was your week?
My week was, I think it started off pretty well. It was pretty amazing. You know, I think after speaking with Rudy last week, you know, I think we finished that show on a high. We're also super motivated. So
you know that I've worked out every day this week without fail, and I've like added more. Like now I'm like, I think about this. Like, hey, I'm breathing. I got to do more.
That's right, man. That's right. So I think following on that example, I've also been trying to get my work in. I've been trying to add some more cardio to my work because normally I'll just do weights for a little bit. So now I try to get in some cardio beforehand. I will walk up and down the stairs of my building, which is about 26 flights of stairs, hoping to get that sweat in.
That's right.
And then that's right, man, because you know it's good when you sweat.
Bananas are a good pre-workout snack.
They are, because they're high in potassium.
We've found out through our research that that's not necessarily the case. More of that to come.
Yes.
They are a good source of sugar, and there are potassium and B6 vitamins, good for your muscles. But we're going to get into that later. Anything else about your week? What else do you want to?
What else do I want to say about my week, man? I don't know. It's been raining, man, and that kind of sucks because it means summertime is over, and the rainy season is here. It's good though for the trees and the grass and the seagrass seeds and all those things. You know, they need that. And yeah, I was trying to start sorting my comic books. I have loads of comic books here in my house, man. I'm trying to sort them out so that I can, you know, do something with them. But every time I open one of those boxes, I see a comic book and there's a story behind it. So then I just sit there reminiscing about the story, and then I just get stuck in the past and I don't do anything.
That's
So
beautiful. That's beautiful. It's good to reminisce, man.
it is good to reminisce. So, but no, man, it's been good. It's been good. Yeah. What about you,
Good,
man?
yeah.
Tell me. Tell me.
Well, it's been an exciting week, but I need to forego that news, and I have to apologize to Panama because I was in Portobello
Mm,
on Friday,
mm,
and I was in the waters of the Caribbean, and I
mm,
twerked a little bit.
mm,
Those waves went down into the crust of the earth,
mm,
and something happened. The motions that I was creating
The
upset the
motion of the
tectonic
ocean.
plates, and something happened down in the crust and the core of the earth, and they came back as an earthquake. Panama had a pretty decent earthquake. I felt it. You felt it? Did you feel it?
I felt it. I felt it, man. I was up here, man. The building was swaying, because I'm up on the 15th floor. So I was asleep already while you were twerking in the ocean at 1:15 in the morning. I was asleep.
I was already back at home. You see, I was in the water. I was so excited. I twerked a little bit, and those motion waves,
They traveled.
they penetrated the earth, and they went
They
down
traveled.
to created tectonic activity.
Man, so you felt it. You felt it in your mind. You were like, "Oh, that was that twerking I did earlier today."
You know when you hit a home run, that baseball bat hits the ball, and you're like, blah, and it feels good.
Yeah.
You already know it's a home run. You're like, blah.
Mm.
I was twerking, and then I hit one motion that felt like just so good, and I knew.
So good.
Hey,
An
that's enough
earthquake was
about
coming.
news. We've got something important to do
Earthquake
here.
was coming.
Chechi, our favorite FamScallion, just
Favorite
had a
FamScallion.
little baby FamScallion.
Beautiful
Congratulations
baby.
on that. He
Beautiful baby.
has made up some mead, and he asked us to do a little taste test. And
That's right.
what is it called? A blind sample taste test? What is this?
Well, I don't think it's a blind. We're not comparing it with anything
Okay.
other than
give our
itself.
opinion.
So I guess we
Now
just
we're
have to give
comparing
our
it to itself.
opinion. We're comparing it to itself. So we have this one to see here. Chechi's online on Instagram. Chechi, please correct us if we're missing anything, or if we speak incorrectly.
Right.
So Chechi made this mead, and I don't know about you, man, but whenever I hear mead, I think that I'm some sort of Viking or some sort of like Norse god, like Thor or any of those guys.
I have Viking heritage, so if I Hulk out, it's because of the mead.
It's because of the mead, man.
Yeah.
Have you had
if
mead?
I plunder some booty, it's because of the mead. I don't recall
nobody
ever
wants-
having mead, which
Nobody
is
wants
not
their booty plundered, man.
I don't ever recall having mead, which isn't a statement for or against it. I might have had mead, just don't remember it. So what's the
Right.
first step? We have one labeled C, right?
We have one labeled C, which is the control.
This is the control.
Control.
And then we have another one labeled 1,
1,
2,
2.
and finally numero 3. I'm the
Tres.
third. I'm Henry Beltui the third, so I think I might like this one.
Tres.
All right, so we taste the
It's very
C
possible.
first, right?
So let's taste the control first. Now, I just want to say I have had mead once. I had it once many years ago, 2010. It was at a German Christmas market, and I remember it being sweet.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Just to let you know, Chechi, these are really cool frascos, little jars. I'm not giving them back. I'm sorry.
They are. No,
This is a
once
donation to the RapScallions.
it is. And they're also recyclable. They're 4. So if we want to recycle them, we can recycle the plastic.
Can you
and
tell
the
us
glass.
what is mead? What are we tasting here?
Mead is supposed to be honey. It's like fermented honey. So let me just get you the correct information. Let me check out my notes, man. Let me check my notes because I don't want to give the FamScallions out there incorrect information. So you basically make it by fermenting honey with water and sometimes with various fruits, spices, grains, or hops. Hops. Okay, but I think
spices?
it can have spices. I'm not really sure what Chechi put into this. He didn't give me the rundown of like all the different things he could have put in it. But basically what I'm understanding is, it's basically fermented honey with water.
Okay.
There's a lowdown on mead. Yes, me too. So
control.
Let's taste control. Here we go.
See?
See.
Okay.
Can you see?
Do we drink the whole thing and we sip it? Do we spit it out?
think-
I'm not spitting it out.
No, let's just sip it. Let's just sip it a little bit and then talk about it.
I like it.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's what I remember it tasting like, actually.
I like it. It has a little bit of alcohol burn to it. I can feel the alcohol. For some reason, I'm having thoughts of like malt. Is there?
Yes. I do
Something
feel it very
malty in there?
malty. Yeah.
I like it. It's not as sweet as I thought it was going to be, which is good. I'm not too big on something that's, empalaga, something that overwhelms you with sweetness.
No, but this. Yeah. Hoppy. I have hops.
Hops. Oh, well. All right, let's go to 1. We got to clean our palate. I got a little soda simple here.
Yeah. I have some H2O.
All right.
Let's go to 1. Let's see what 1 tastes like.
I gotta make sure I don't mix these things up. I'm gonna put the caps.
Put the cap back on. Number 1.
There you go. Salud.
Cheers.
There's a surprisingly different taste.
It is.
I'm thinking of apple juice for some reason.
I feel it's starchy. Can it be starchy?
Yeah, man. RapScallions sommeliers.
Yes.
All right.
I think
makes me think of apple juice.
I'm thinking potato peel.
Potato peel.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you know the flavor, the starchy flavor of like potato.
Oh, right, like raw potatoes.
That's
Now what?
Good,
do we go back to control? Do we go back to control, or we just go down the numbering line?
We can go back to control.
Don't forget to chime in, people. We want to hear your opinions on this. Like, oh, you guys are doing it wrong.
Yeah, can you taste potato peel in mead? I don't know. Let us know.
Okay, are we doing control or 2?
Let's do control.
Okay. I'm about to lose control.
Oh.
Like it? All right.
Okay. I like it.
Control.
I like it. I'm liking the 1 variation. I'm liking this potato peel. The potato peel
control
situation.
better than number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go number 2.
Number 2.
I can tell I'm gonna like this one.
Let me see.
This has a lot of esters.
A
lot of esters.
Who's Esther?
Esters are like fruit.
It smells very fruity. I like this. There's a. I'm tasting. What is that taste? I'm tasting is that maracuya? I'm tasting maracuya.
I still taste apple juice.
I'm tasting maracuya. Chechi says, take note. He says, do take note. He's being very proper with his English right now.
Okay.
Do take note that they have 15% alcohol.
Schmack-a-diggles. We're going to get bananas today.
He says, right. I like back to the control, he says. He likes us going back to... This tastes like maracuya.
It is very fruity, and the smell, much more enjoyable than number 1.
Yeah.
But the flavors are kind of... this one's just more powerful of the same flavor, in my opinion.
Of number 1, or of the first? I'm getting I'm getting a super strong maracuya flavor in this one.
All right. Now what? Cleanse the palate.
Cleanse the palate. Back to control.
All right. Here. Do some control. Control is my favorite one so far. But I might change my opinion the more I taste and the more I explore.
All
right.
Control, yes, it's safe.
Okay, number 3. Okay, this one doesn't have like a fruity or esters. Esters like the fruity odors.
This smells like olives.
It does. You got that one, dude. And grape skins.
Look at this, man. We got the nose that knows, man.
This one has like a nice body to it. It has got more body.
Yeah.
It like coats the mouth with caramel. I'm gonna keep sipping until I have the flavor of banana in my mouth.
This one's not as sweet. I don't find this one sweet at all. Or actually, do I? I don't know. Now I'm just thinking olives.
Man, tasting is hard because I like everything. I think number 3 is my favorite. It's got a nice body to it. It has a lot of body to it. And it covers the mouth with caramel, and then you start tasting flavors afterward.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to have to go with number 1. Number 1's the maracuya. No, number 2.
Two is the one. Yeah, this one's very fruity odors.
2 is the maracuya one. Maracuya. Is it maracuya? No, it's not maracuya. It's... What is this smell, man? Is it maracuya?
You know, Joe, looks like Chechi is trying new things and maybe trying to open a new company. But, you know, the first thing you should do if you're thinking about opening a new company?
HB, I will tell you what the first thing that you should do is when you're opening a new company. Because you know what, my friend? Sometimes you have to contact a financial advisor. Because you want to make sure that you're putting your money to use properly, HB. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
Hey, if I could recommend a financial advisor to you right off the bat, HB, I would have to recommend my man, Luke Robertson over at Edward Jones.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. I'm putting up the sign right now for the college preparation. You know, one of the things that you do besides preparing your funds to invest in a new company or deciding to invest is, hey, if you've got kids, what if you prepare more for your family vacations than you do for college? Vacations are good.
They are.
It's
They're
an
good.
investment. It's life-changing, you know. You'll always remember that. But you've also got to figure out your right path on investing in your children's college. In that case,
is true.
Who are we going to contact? Who are you going to contact? If you're out there and you need to plan for college, if you need to plan for investing in a new business, who are you going to call, Joe?
Hey, man, Luke Robertson, man, over to Edward Jones, and you can reach out to him on his phone. That's 757-481-0023, 757-481-0023, or you can send them an email over at luke.robertson@edwardjones.com. Because let me tell you something, HB, college is expensive, you know, and, you know, unless you know, we manage to have kids that are like supremely talented at sport or in art or something, the chances of them getting a scholarship slim. Yeah. So we got to talk to Luke, man, so that Luke can help us out to make sure our children meet their dreams.
Well done.
Of going to study.
That was a beautiful announcement for our sponsor, Luke Robertson over at Edward Jones. And much like Chechi has reached out to us to do a little taste test of his mead, so should you reach out to Luke Robertson for all of your financial planning.
That's right, man. That's right. And just, hey, if you guys want mead, call Chechi.
Call Chechi. DM
call
him.
Chechi. DM him. He's big on the DMs. Be like, I need some of that mead that tasted like olives or maracuya, you know, delicious stuff. You know, his bottles packed with love. Holler at Chechi. Thank you, Chechi, for giving us this opportunity to taste first batch of Chechi's home-style mead.
Homestyle mead. Yarg. I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna run the corridor here. Run the corridor. I just had some control. Warner number 1. The odor on this one compared to the other ones, I'm not saying it's bad, but compared to the other ones, is less fruity and it has sort of a
potato peel.
Yes. This is the potato peel.
Yes.
A very starchy odor to it. Okay, now we're going to go to number 2.
That's the
very
maracuya.
Very fruity odor. I love the odor on this one.
That is the maracuya one.
I'm just going to go out and say it. This one tastes like bananas. It's got a fruitiness to it. And hopefully Joe can turn that into a segue. I want to get started on the bananas. We're going to come back. We're going to come back as we go through the show, as we blow your minds. We're going to keep taking sips of this mead and comparing and contrasting And then finally, at the end of the show, we'll have our final opinions on this.
We'll have our final opinions on this delicious mead that Chechi has prepared for us on this beautiful banana-loving Sunday, y'all. So let's get this party started, man. Let us take a trip down memory lane and just talk about bananas, you know? HB, first and foremost, you know, did you know bananas, they belong to the order Musa, M-U-S-A, which are herbaceous flowering plants. And bananas are classified as berries.
Berries. That's what we call it, a fruit. And it's kind of like a piece of grass. It's like a giant piece of grass. And its berries are elongated. They're elongated. This is foreshadowing. They're elongated. They're
Very
like
foreshadowing.
You know, and then they grow in bunches called hands. And it's a berry. It's classified as a berry. Very interesting.
Yes, and the old scientific name was Musa sapientum, meaning belonging to wise men. Belonging to wise men. They don't use this anymore for some reason.
That classification, you know, it changed. Now there's the main classification, which is bananas and plantains, which is a starchier version. And then there's several different varieties that aren't in common. You're not going to find them in your supermarket.
Exactly.
And they're thought to have been domesticated in New Guinea. That's when I've tasted some of the like the more primitive bananas, and it's all seeds. It's very difficult to eat, and it's very sweet.
Which are the more primitive bananas?
They're pink and they've got long seeds in it.
Pink bananas.
Yeah. So way back in the day, who knows when?
Yeah.
These guys started tasting. It's like, hey, you know, the fruit's good, but the seeds are too big. Let's do our cultivations. Let's cultivate and selective breeding, and we'll try and make one that we like. And you know, that led to Asia, India, Middle East, Africa, and then eventually the Canary Islands. And with the discovery of the New World, they made their way to the Western Hemisphere. Bananas did.
Right. Okay.
So some nutrients. We did a lot of research here. It's 75% water, 23% carbs, and 1% protein, negligible fat. And everyone says that they're so high in potassium. That doesn't seem to be the case, as one banana only provides 8% of your dietary requirements. They are, however, very high in vitamin B6, which is like 33%.
Right.
So they're still very good for you. Dietary fiber. 2 bananas is considered the moderate amount to eat. So you're going to eat your bananas daily.
2.
You can eat more.
All right,
but
then that would be too much.
Luke Robertson's tuned in. He says,
Yo.
Buenos dias, cabrones. And we say, Buenos dias, Señor Luke.
Make sure to have your bananas.
Make sure to eat your bananas and your mead. Luke says that he can send a recipe. I don't know if that's for bananas, for mead, or for your college planning.
All 3, very important.
All right.
Very important. HB, you know something that I thought was very important, since we're talking about things in bananas? I read that apparently bananas were used, I don't know if they still are, but I guess they were at some point, for treating depression, because apparently some studies were showed that people felt less depressed after eating a banana, and they thought it was because of the tryptophan.
Tryptophan, and it also helps with the creation of serotonin. Very true, Joe. Your research has done you well. And, you know, to all those people out there, if you have trouble sleeping, eat a banana before you go to bed. It'll help you sleep, and it'll make you happy.
Yep.
And this was a surprising one that I read. Bananas are radioactive.
What?
Right? Now, I'm sure everyone's like, what? But it's not bad for you. Oh, here we go. Luke Robertson says the recipe: banana plus. Oh, the mead's taking effect. Banana plus peanut butter plus raisins plus a little bit of honey. Very good.
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
Banana sandwich, and you can even put that in a rib of celery. Very healthy. What else, Joe? Radioactive,
like
yes. Okay, so when we think radioactive, we're like, oh my God, this is going to screw me up. And it's like,
Incredible Hulk.
yeah, so it's good for you. It's like Popeye, but it's
Yeah.
only 1% of the average daily exposure, and you'll get 50 times more radiation from a dental X-ray and 400 times more radiation taking a commercial flight across the U.S. because you're up in the air and the radiation's bombarding you. So don't worry
Wow.
about the radiation.
Don't worry about it. Eat your bananas.
Yeah. And the final factoid before we get started on the mind-blowing information here is the banana production creates a lot of waste. So let's say you harvest 1 ton of bananas.
Uh-huh.
That creates 2 tons of vegetable waste, like the stalk or the tree that comes out. You get the bunch, that's 1 ton of those. And then you've got 2 tons of this other stuff, which has created a big problem. But there are ways to mitigate that. We can talk about that later.
Right.
If you guys have questions, we've done our research, but we want to get into the meat and bananas.
Potatoes, meat and bananas. The meat and bananas.
Dan Norm is tuned in. What's up, Dan? Broiled manzano bananas make an awesome dessert. Sounds delicious. I'm gonna take a sip of mead number 2 because that's the fruitiest mead.
That is the
Awesome
fruitiest
dessert.
mead. I think we're gonna finish all this mead by the time this episode is done. But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what it's here for.
That's what it's here for. If you have any questions about bananas, let us know. Any comments? So when we were thinking up topics for the next episode, we want to talk about Panama as usual, and Panama does have a part to play in bananas, but bananas haven't always been as popular as they are today. I mean, Joe, you just posted a video on our Facebook page. What was the video about?
Well, if you guys want to watch the video, it's over on our Facebook page, man. I think, like HB says, bananas weren't always popular. People didn't really know they could eat bananas or how to eat bananas. So due to the efficiency in which they were being produced, they also had to be marketed in a way so that people could understand these bananas. So there was a commercial came out with this dancing banana. Chiquita Banana was the name of the dancing banana. You guys could check it out. And basically the singing banana explains to people about how they should eat the bananas, when they should eat the bananas. She says the bananas are good for babies, because of all their nutrients. So, hey, if it's good for babies, why shouldn't we all eat the bananas, right?
Yeah. And they say, bananas grow near the equator, so don't put them in the fridge.
Don't put them in the fridge.
Public service announcements to get you to eat more bananas. We got some more shout outs. Gabe Bako says Sopa HB. And then let's see. Dan Norman says banana tree ring farming. Very interesting. That's where you dig a hole and you create a ring and you plant the bananas. And bananas are good at holding moisture.
Right.
You cut all your vegetable waste into the ring, and that they need a lot of water, so they're sharing the water. It's a good way to water your. Frank Serrano says fried banana lumpia. That sounds good. That sounds like lumpias are from the Philippines, I think.
Huh, that sounds delicious, man.
They actually make their ketchup out of bananas and not tomatoes over in the Philippines.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like a sweet ketchup.
Yeah, like a sweet ketchup.
Like Maggie.
So, back in the day, bananas weren't that popular. And and this part made me laugh. Back in the Victorian era, they were considered to be too phallic. They were known throughout Europe and the United States, but because they look like a yellow penis, they were frowned upon, which is unfortunate.
That's terrible. So basically, for several years, for many, many years, people would see these bananas and they'd look at them and it'd be like, no.
Can't do that.
No.
This is horrible.
It's not
horrible.
Good. Yeah, terrible.
That's so
terrible,
dumb.
terrible. It is. It is. And speaking of waste, HP, that you mentioned earlier, that's where the whole thing about slipping on a banana peel comes from, because there were so many bananas. There was so much banana waste, particularly in cities like New York, that there were actually banana peels on the floor and people would slip on them.
Yeah. I thought that was just something like in Bugs Bunny cartoons, where they're walking down the street and they throw the banana peel and someone slips on it. That was actually a thing.
Yeah.
Bananas were marketed to become so popular and to be the cheapest fruit that they were everywhere. And they created a problem on the streets of people throwing, not like today's educated Panamanians and U.S. Americans who throw their
Mhm.
garbage and compost. Back in the day, we know people just threw it on the
On the
street,
ground.
and people actually slipped and fell on them. That's where that came from in the cartoons. It wasn't an invention of the cartoons. It was something that's actually happening.
Yeah. That's insane, man. So it's actually a problem. I myself have never seen anyone slip on a banana peel. Have you ever seen someone slip on a banana peel?
I haven't. I tried to when I was taking art class, and we had to paint the still life where you paint the fruits.
Uh-huh.
I took one of the bananas and I ate it, and I put the banana in the doorway, hoping that the teacher would slip on it. But he just got mad at me for ruining everyone's painting. We got some more questions here. Luke Robertson says, do you guys have the same fake stick-on beards? Yes, these are RapScallions merchandise. You can order yours at PanamaRP.com.
That's right.
That's headquarters for the RapScallions. That's going to have all the links to our social medias, and it's also going to have links to our merch. Check this out. We have our RapScallion totes. I got it here. I got in here. This is what I take notes on. After I'm done taste testing the meat, I'm going to write my notes. Take my notes. And then I go to the store and I come back with a bottle of rum in my RapScallion tote bag. So cool. So cool.
And then when we're done with the empty bottles of meat, we will put them in the tote bag and take them to our nearest recycling center to get the plastic and the glass recycled, all in our hefty tote bags.
We got another question. What is a good way to extend the life of your banana? Any good tricks? That's a good question. It's kind of tough because
a
lot of people say that you take some plastic and you wrap the bunch where they connect, and then that'll make them stay green longer. But that hasn't worked for me.
You know what? I usually try to put them in the fridge, and that slows it down for a bit. But if you watch the video that we posted on our Facebook, apparently there's a very evil man that lives in the fridge, and he will try and chase your bananas down because you should not put your bananas in the fridge. I've never found an evil man in my fridge to try and take my bananas. So I would say stick them in the fridge. It might give you an extra day or two of life.
I do have if you feel like you don't feel like eating that banana and it's getting a little turnt, you're supposed to eat it when it has little brown dots on it. That's when they're most healthy. But if they're getting a little past, throw them in the freezer, and then you can blend them up, and they make excellent. It tastes like ice cream. You don't have to add sugar or nothing.
Very true.
You just blend them up and put a little cream or something in there. Let's see. We've got a very active group here.
I think people love bananas, dude.
Luke Roberts says life or, and he's like, Gabe, life or length? Okay, how do you preserve the length of your banana? Well, the only way to preserve that is to stop people from biting the end off of it.
Yeah, don't let people do that. That's not
Gabe
nice.
retorts like banana in the tailpipe. Oh, it's practical jokes. Yeah. Luke Robertson says, there is such a thing as a banana box. It's a plastic box to protect your banana from getting bruised, like a bagged lunch. Dan Norman says, freeze and make bread or pancakes. Gabe says, banana daiquiri boy. Hey, there you go. We add some meat to it. All right, let's get on with the history. So what was necessary for bananas to become as popular as they are today, to become a meme that even cartoons made fun of them, where you throw the peel down and people slip? It required good marketing and very good logistics.
Yep. I mean, I think it's funny because now that you're saying everything that you were saying now about how to eat the bananas and stuff and how you have to wait for it to have the little brown dots on it, all of that stuff is in that Chiquita banana commercial. So basically, whenever the banana was singing, she was explaining all of this to everyone.
In song. So you guys should be able to follow along. There's pictures and music. You guys should be able to understand the whole thing.
That's right. So if you're confused about how to eat a banana, how to preserve a banana, Chiquita Banana, man, she did that in 1945.
And that was part of that genius marketing where there was Carmen Miranda was very popular. She had a basket of fruits on her head. And to take away from that phallic look, they dressed her up kind of like a Chiquita was a Carmen Miranda ripoff. Yeah. Where she sang and made bananas popular. So,
And just made people comfortable about bananas,
right, yeah,
made them comfortable
peel
with
it,
the
put
idea
it
of
in
eating
your
a banana.
mouth. Yeah.
That's right. There's nothing
So,
wrong with that. Food is food.
Yeah. So, how did we make this berry very popular? That didn't land as way I thought.
No, it did not.
Okay,
It did
so
not.
look,
People have to read it. People have to read
yeah,
it.
we have to read it. So, okay, so back in the day, these things would spoil. As you all know, you're asking questions about how to keep them lasting longer. It's hard. So
It's
imagine
hard.
trying to ship these things back in the day in the I don't know what's, trying to get these things to the United States to eat.
Yeah.
Very difficult. So
Very
we
difficult.
need to go back, take some steps back, Joe.
Back in time.
In Costa Rica, Henry Meigs signed a contract in 1871. He signed a contract with the government of Costa Rica, saying that he would build a railroad for them from San Jose to the port of Limon on the Caribbean side of Costa Rica. Now, Costa Rica, most of its production was on the Pacific side.
Right.
And the idea was to move minerals, coffee, and cacao, which is chocolate, to the coast for shipment.
So they were trying to spread it out.
Trying to spread it out. And this guy, he was building this railroad. And, everyone from Panama knows that the rainforest is devastating, dude. These guys couldn't do a damn thing. They were having such a hard time cutting through the rainforest. He brought on his nephew. His nephew was up and coming. This was in the day of Teddy Roosevelt. You had to make your future.
Right.
So, what was this guy's name? Keith. What's his full
name?
name?
Minor C. Keith.
Minor C. Keith decided to go work with him. So they're building this railroad. It took them 25 years, something crazy like that.
Wow.
Tremendous
well, I guess
loss
if you're gonna be cutting through the jungle, right, it's gonna take you a long time for sure.
Oh yeah, and they tried the locals, and the locals were like, "No, man, we all quit. This sucks. We're gonna die."
Yeah.
And they brought in Chinese workers, Asian workers, and then people from all over the world trying to do it. And finally, they brought in people from Jamaica because they were more acclimated to that type of weather.
Right. So they were like, it wasn't something where they were going to come and they were like, it's too hot. No,
it's too hot. And to this day, the people there speak English with the Jamaican patois.
Oh, look at that.
So these guys are having a hell of a time. They finally get the railroad built. They start operations, and they're not making any money because taking people to the coast just isn't making them money.
Right.
So meanwhile, there's a sailor, Lorenzo Dow Baker, visited Jamaica in 1870s and bought his first bananas and brought them back to the U.S. Thought it was a good idea, and he formed a company with Andrew Preston, and that was the Boston Fruit Company in 1885.
Right.
So with that knowledge, Keith had planted bananas along the railway to feed the workers, and he decided to start. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. The Costa Rica was supposed to be paying Keith to build this railroad, and Keith and Meeks, and they defaulted on the payments. So he got a loan from London, and he negotiated a 99-year concession to own the railroad, the rights to the railroad, tax-free. He controlled the port. He was given a bunch of land, like 800 hectares of land in concession. He
got all of this from the Costa Ricans.
Yeah, because
just like that. Yeah. Wow.
Oh my God, I got so many people here chiming in. It's good to see you guys. Etymology, I always call them guineo in Spanish until I come to the U.S. and appears I'm the only Latino to ever use that word. Seems like it's banano to everyone else. Guineo, yeah. Guineo from New Guinea. There's we could do a whole show on the etymology of just bananas. Everybody love banana. Hugo Cabrera's Juice is tuned in. He says everybody loves banana. Panamanians like it. And we could do a whole show dissecting the Banana Boat song,
Hey, seriously. There's so much music that came out of bananas.
It is. And Luke Robertson says right about the same time canal was being built. That's a good point. But we have to come back to that later. That started in 1904. Yes. We're still in the 1890s. And Hugo Cabrera says Limon equals Costa Rican Colon. That's true. That's the Colon side of Costa Rica.
No doubt.
So Help me out, Joe. What are we talking about? The concessions.
Yes, that he was given a bucket load of land, a 99-year concession, and he just got basically control of all this from the Costa Rican government because they weren't able to make the payment
Right.
that they had promised him.
So this guy, Banana Central, right? So
No doubt.
let's put this into perspective. This guy's growing banana and making money off of it, taking it into the U.S. The guys in the Boston Fruit Company are also making money, and there's like all this information. There's so many sources. There's conflicting information. So we're just gonna go over it. You guys ask your questions. We'll try to fill in, but you need to pick up a book because this is just craziness.
You know what's really interesting, I think, is just that here's this guy, right? He's building a railroad. He's like, I gotta feed these dudes that are building my railroad. So in order to feed them, he starts planting banana trees along the track. He's like, here's your banana. You guys are being fed. And then he's just like, yo, I'm not spending any money feeding them because you're just eating these bananas. I could make some money off of these bananas.
Right.
Just like that. So easy. So easy.
Boom. Yeah, Joe, what do we have around here that we need to be making money off of that? We're just
seriously.
So
I don't know, man. It's crazy.
The train, the land, and the concession and the tax breaks. The guy's growing bananas for very cheap. That's part one of the puzzle. He can take bananas to the coast very easily.
Yeah. 2,
they had refrigerated ships at this time. So that way they could transport even though they say don't refrigerate the bananas. They had temperature controlled ships. So at least it's not piping hot in there, you know?
Yeah, which would destroy the bananas if you get them. Once you try to get them wherever it is you're trying to get them. I mean, according to our research, once you cut the banana plant, you know, when you cut the banana off of the plant, you have 2 weeks to get it to market.
Right.
So it's like time sensitive.
Very, very time sensitive. This is 1880s, 1890s.
Yeah. So you can't just be like, cut the banana, put it there. Oh, we'll sell it in a month. No, because then
you got to get moving.
Yeah.
And, so you have 2 weeks. Some places say 3 weeks, but bananas, they don't ripen on the vine. You got to, anyway, that's a whole different story. I don't completely understand the science behind it, but having control of the shipping is the logistics side of it. So their competitors, this guy's company was called Tropical Trading and Transport Company, right?
Yeah.
So what happened next to cause it? You have the Tropical Trading and Transport Company, and you also have its competitor, the Boston Company, the Boston Fruit Company.
Yeah.
So they ended up merging. Why? This guy Keith's company that he invested with went broke. Hoadley and company went bankrupt, and he lost 1.5 million. So he goes up to Boston. He's like, "Hey, we should merge."
Right.
And what happened after that, Joe?
And then a company that we would come to know for many years comes into the picture, and this is the United Fruit Company. United Fruit Company, 1899, comes out of the merger of Minor C. Keith's company and Andrew Preston's Boston Fruit Company, and they basically just kind of took off.
He took off, and when we mean take off, they exploded. They became so huge. They saw how good it was to control the railroads. They started building railroads all over Central America. And they actually had a railroad in Panama. Let's see, it was from Bocas del Toro to Almirante.
Right. And it was wholly built by them, controlled by them. Basically, it's like wherever they had their banana plantations located, they created their own infrastructure, their own system for working. It's reminded me, actually, when reading about this, remember how controversial it was when the mining companies came into Panama a couple of years ago?
Oh, yeah.
And then the mining companies basically set up their own little sort of enclaves or whatever.
Like a company town.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get paid in cash. You get paid in coupons. So you get a United Fruit Company piece of paper, which is only good at the United Fruit Company tienda.
Yeah.
And you can't go anywhere. So it was like a town with one brothel, and essentially you just got drunk all day, and you couldn't make enough money to get out. The working conditions were just awful.
And I think in Bocas del Toro, there was no other access to that area at the time on land. So it was only by air or by boat, if I'm not mistaken.
Only by air and by boat. Now
yeah.
we were Franz Quo was very helpful in helping us do research. He recommended the book "A Creole from Bocas del Toro: The Story of Carlos Reed" by Stanley Hecadon Moreno, and check that book out. We'll post references to it on our feed, and it's just I mean, I couldn't get the book in time, but he was kind enough to transcribe the introduction. And in this passage, it says that they were paid in gold and silver, which in Bocas del Toro at the time was different from other Central American and Caribbean companies where they were paid in coupons.
Right.
There was Scottish influence in Panama from San Andres and Providence. They'd been taxed too much over there, so they came to Bocas del Toro. And this book talks about the formation of the Creole, which is a mixture of just about everyone.
Yeah.
And the Creole was this is a passage explaining from 1883, kind of like the origins of Bocas del Toro. Very interesting. Following the abolition of slavery in Colombia in 1851, very important date. The United States didn't go into the Civil War until 1861.
1861, yeah.
Yeah. So Panama, as we mentioned before in the railroad episode, in the Dia de la Sandia, there was an abolition of slavery, and so that's when there was agriculture had started in Bocas del Toro. Some of the things they reference here is plantations, bananas, cocoa, coconuts, root crops like yucca and yams, sarsaparilla, agua, India rubber, and then later on, the Creole Society took part in the cultivation of bananas in Bocas del Toro.
Yeah. And then also, not to mention, HB, the whole situation with the French Canal. Because once that kind of went bust, you had a bunch of workers that were brought in to work on that canal that were actually not doing anything. I think the figure is maybe, by 1894, it was about 1,500 West Indians, French and English speaking, and they were working then in the plantations in Chiriquí.
Right.
And it got to a point, I think, where they were employing thousands of people in Changuinola alone, just working on the banana plantations.
Right. Absolutely right, Joe. And, there's so much information out there. It's kind of hard for us to give you guys a good timeline, but we felt it's important for us to focus a little bit more at the beginning on Panama, since we all know and love Panama.
That's right.
So all over Central America, all the way down to Colombia, the United Fruit Company started its empire. Now, where one company was good at the logistics, the other was the geniuses of advertising and marketing. So they got people to overcome their fear of the giant yellow penis and be able to eat it without feeling bad.
Important.
Very important. And then another thing they did was they made it the cheapest fruit available. So it was very accessible, and they were able to do that, by controlling everything. And when we say controlling everything, we mean everything, dude. They controlled everything. And which country? According to our research, they controlled even the post office,
in Guatemala.
In Guatemala.
Yeah. I mean, they had such influence in the region, the United Fruit Company did, that they were known as El Pulpo, or the octopus, because they had their tentacles everywhere in the region, even influencing politics within different countries.
And using their riches to get the United States to participate in a lot of these police actions on foreign soil. I mean, the list is just crazy, and I hope we do it justice. So where should we start, Joe? Maybe you've heard of a Banana Republic.
It's a store, right, where you can go get khakis and
Exactly.
coats.
And also, you can get cargo pants that
Cargo
last for
pants.
about 6 months,
Right? Okay.
and some unfashionable slippers, maybe.
I don't understand how they. Yeah, man. Just how why you would pick a name like that for your store, but there you go. I don't know.
So
I don't know.
what is a Banana Republic, my friend?
So, for those of us in the know, a banana republic is a politically unstable country with an economy dependent upon the exportation of a limited resource product, such as bananas or minerals. Coffee as well. Yeah. It was a term that was coined by the American author O. Henry to describe Honduras and neighboring countries under economic exploitation by U.S. corporations, such as El Pulpo, the United Fruit Company. For the most part, a banana republic had a society of extremely satisfied social classes, using a large impoverished working class and a ruling class plutocracy composed of the business, political, and military elites of society.
So after the United Fruit Company got their tentacles around everything, they started all kinds of shenanigans, which we will henceforth refer to as bananigans.
Bananigans.
Yes,
Sounds like a good restaurant.
All over the place, and
Yeah.
like how do we start explaining this? They convinced the U.S. in 1910 was the Bolshevik Revolution, and that instilled the fear of communism into the United States.
Yeah.
And the United Fruit Company used this to essentially overthrow countries that wouldn't give them concessions, wouldn't give them tax breaks, wouldn't give them control of the logistics infrastructure if there was one, or wouldn't allow them to build it. So the El Pulpo essentially went around, and if people didn't agree with them, they would just use the U.S. to overthrow the country and install who would.
And I think what really blew my mind just reading about this was the amount of U.S. intervention that was going on in the region during that time. I think basically every other year the U.S. was intervening somewhere.
Right. I mean, they installed some of the Somoza government, the government in the Dominican Republic, which was just a horrible people.
Yeah.
That completely devastated their countries, all for the interest of giving the gringos some bananas, man.
Yeah, and I guess because there was also such a fear, I guess, for communism. I guess that maybe they felt that they had to maintain that there had to be sort of a control in the region to kind of keep it in check.
That's on the surface, it's easy to explain with communism, but also just outright greed.
Yeah. I mean, people want to make money, and they were making very quick. And I guess during that time, again, I think during that time, especially when you were working at a banana plantation, and I remember I read something about the United Fruit Company being one of the first companies to actually establish corporate social responsibility projects, which I found was ridiculous, because I guess they tried to do some nice things for their workers, but regardless, if you were working in a banana plantation, you were getting the crap kicked out of you on just work-wise. You were making very little money. Like HB said, you were probably going to be getting, depending on where you were getting paid in coupons that you could only use within the confines of the banana compound that you were living in. But then you had the bosses who were just like, they were living the good life,
Joe, do you think that they set up 401ks for their workers?
I think so. I think the first 401k was set up by El Pulpo, and it was called the Pulpo 1K.
Pulpo 1K.
The Pulpo 1K.
They should have called someone for help on that. And I recommend that they call Luke Robertson, who is our sponsor for today's show. He works over at Edmund Jones, and you don't want El Pulpo. You want Luke Robertson, because If you're talking about leaving your employer, you need to
Mm.
understand your 401k options.
That's right.
I can't
That's right.
explain it to you. Joe can't explain to you, but you know
No.
who can is Luke Robertson. You can get a hold of him by calling 757-481-0023
That's
or
right.
write to him at luke.robertson@edwardjones.com. He's available throughout the continental United States. He's
That's
got
right.
lawyers, he's got out the whole setup. He can help you out with all of your 401k or retirement needs. So, Joe, having said that, what the United Fruit Company should have done, well, I think I lost internet here. It's par for the course on rapping with RapScallions. We need to ask Luke, which is the best internet purchase in Panama? Joe, are you back?
I am. El Pulpo was trying to hack into my internet, but I said
See, El,
no.
El Pulpo got angry with us. We were shedding too many secrets.
Shedding too many secrets. He didn't like the fact that Luke Robertson can advise people on their 401k options. He was like, no, man. If Luke Robertson would have been around back in 1908, him and the Pulpo would have had to go toe to toe.
Exactly. So that's one of the things that people actually started doing is protesting. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
we need rights, basic
Mm-hmm.
rights. And some of the things that they were fighting for were 8-hour work days, 6-hour work weeks, or 6-day work weeks.
6-day work weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Being paid in actual money as opposed to coupons or pieces of paper, which were worthless.
Yeah.
And this isn't the only type of company towns that were happening in Central South America. You had gold mines, mineral mines, and stuff like that kind of operated on the same system where everyone's trapped. You get there and you can't leave. And did I leave out any of the other horrible criminal
Well,
activity?
I think it would be very interesting just to mention the whole situation that happened in Honduras, because that was one of the quiz questions that we had during the week. We asked,
Yeah.
in which country in Central America did the United Fruit Company actually support a coup? And this in Honduras, you had this guy by the name of Zemure. This was his last name was Zemure, and his first name was, I will tell you right now what his first name was, Samuel Zemure. So this guy was heavily involved in bananas. He was I guess you could call him a banana baron, HB, if that's a term that is used. I think I've heard that, or did I just make that up? No, I didn't make that up. I think that's been used before. But anyways, Zemure was a banana baron for all intents and purposes, and he had this land in Honduras. He found out that the Honduran president at the time, Miguel Davila, he wasn't going to give him tax, land, and transportation concessions. So he was like, all right, Miguel, you're not going to do this the way I want you to do it. So he decided to organize and finance a military coup to replace Davila with Manuel Bonilla, which was a previous sort of military strongman in Honduras. So they got past U.S. agents in this sailboat, or I guess you could call it a sailboat. It was a small ship captained by a guy called Lee Christmas and another guy called Guy Machine Gun Maloney.
Oh my goodness. Lee Christmas and Machine Gun Maloney.
Machine Gun Maloney. And they had like a box of guns and stuff. And so a couple of weeks after Christmas, coincidentally enough, a couple of weeks after Christmas.
Make it more confusing.
Yeah. A couple of weeks after Christmas, Lee Christmas and Machine Gun Maloney, along with Zemurai, arrive to Honduras, to the port of Trujillo, and they take down the government, and Davila is replaced with Bonilla, which is the guy that Zemurai wanted. And of course, the new president was like, hey, Zemurai, Samuel Zemurai, you are a man with a plan. Here is everything that you've been wanting for and more. And boom, Zemurai was able to establish a company that would become a competitor to just all the other banana loving companies in the region. So incredibly enough, this guy, due to his influences and everything that and just his greed, I guess, as well. Again, this is something we discussed a couple of minutes ago. A lot of greed was behind this. A lot of these people were just basically acting under their own interest, their own self and personal interest.
Right.
And yeah, because of that, there was a coup where a democratically elected official was replaced in order to put in another guy, just because they wanted to have their banana plantations and do all their banana loving stuff.
Keep their bananas growing and keep the pulpo happy.
That's right. That's right. How ridiculous is that, man? How ridiculous is that?
So I think we're in the 30s, I believe, right?
Right now, yeah. Well, in the 20s.
In the 20s.
Now we're just entering the 20s, yeah.
We're just entering the 20s. Samurai gets ousted. He's replaced. Merry Christmas to you. So let's get back to Bocas del Toro. There's things happening down in Bocas del Toro in Panama.
Yeah.
This is the first appearance in the 1930s of the infamous Panama disease.
The Panama disease, dude.
Yeah,
Panama disease. And I think there's a lot of the information we're discussing. Sorry, HB. It's very, so in some of the texts we read, it said that the Panama disease was around from the 1910s. Other texts that we read said that it was around from the 1950s. But we also saw that in Bocas del Toro, it was around in the 1930s. Sorry, go ahead, HB.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for adding that, because we found a lot of conflicting information. But
yeah.
In Bocas del Toro at the time, we explained earlier that at the arrival or the formation of the Creoles, which is a mixture of all the descendants there and the freed slaves and whatnot, they had switched to all those different exportations and crops to a monoculture of bananas. And at the time, they were growing a banana called the Gros Michel.
And that's spelled Gros Michel, but the S in Gros is silent.
Silent. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And AKA, it was also known as Big Mike.
Oh, Big Mike.
Oh.
Get it.
So Bocas del Toro got hit hard by the Panama disease, and at the time they didn't know what it was. Nowadays we know that it's a fungus, and they would later find a way to flood the fields. But at that time, this was a very fast-moving disease, and the land would be unusable for decades.
And one of the things I heard, HB, sorry, and just a quick, is that it spread so fast because, the only banana that was being produced was the Big Mike.
Gros Michel.
So then the fungus was just like, all right, I know you. Spread like wildfire,
It's so delicious.
That's right, man. Because it was all the same thing, and you were packing these bananas together in the same places, same locations, taking them to the same countries. So it made it so easy for the fungus to spread, because there wasn't any sort of like new banana that was like, no, I'm so resistant to you.
Yeah, like if you planted a different variety right next to the Gros Michel, one would be affected and the other one wouldn't. But this, everything was the same, so it was just complete devastation. Let's see, what are the dates here? The last shipment of bananas from Bocas left Almirante on February 1932 on the steamer Aracataca in the midst of the Great World Depression. Bocas del Toro, in an instant, wrote a witness, became desolated and devastated by the economic depression. The collapse of the banana farms in Changuinola paralyzed port operations at Almirante, causing the breakdown of commerce in the whole province. So everything just got completely blown apart. On a side note, the steamer Aracataca was named after the town in Colombia where Gabriel Garcia Marquez was born, who wrote a book called Cien Años de Soledad, which mentions a lot of bananigans that happened in Colombia. I think we're going to get to that part later, right?
Right. Yeah.
Heavy.
Indeed.
So I was shout out to the Kuo family. As we mentioned earlier, Franz Kuo helped us with some of the research in Panama and the United Fruit Company. He also mentioned to me that his great grandfather came over from Hong Kong and was part of the process, or part of the the economic machinery that was happening in Bocas del Toro at the time.
Hmm.
And I'm assuming that on or around this bust, he went back to Hong Kong, but his daughters were born in Boca, so they had the cedula number from Panama.
Right.
And then I asked him, I was well, if your great grandfather left, how did he get back? It was like war broke out, and because they were born in Panama and had their cedulas, they were able to come back to Panama and then that's how they became Panamanians. So
Right. Very
story.
interesting, for sure, man. For sure. HB, if I could just take some time to talk about some of the things that were happening within the region as this was all going down in Bocas. So in 1922, there was improvements, a lot of technological advances, and a lot of just cultural things were shifting now with regards to bananas. So banana drying technology was improving. So this encouraged the United Fruit to promote the consumption of dried banana chips. Right? Platanitos.
Platanitos, right?
Platanitos. The company wanted to use this as a way to market discarded bananas or plantains. So these guys were not trying to waste anything when it came to money-making opportunities. So as early as 1922, they're already, all right, man, let's dry these bananas, sell them to the people, man. 1922. And then in the year 1923, HB, I don't know if you've heard the song, Yes, We Have No Bananas.
My dad used to sing it all the time.
Yes, we have no bananas. I don't know where I heard that. I heard that in some old TV show when I was a kid.
It goes like this. It's like, yes, we have no bananas.
That's
we
right.
We have no bananas today. Hooray. And that's the only part I know. My dad would sing that all the time.
It's so catchy. Well, that came out in 1923, and it was super popular. It sold 25,000 copies a day. A day.
What?
Yes. It's like Frank Silver and Irving Cohen, who wrote the song. They were like the Jay-Z and Beyonce at the time, with their Yes, We Have No Bananas. And then and then they would tour the country with his banana band. I mean, there was such a euphoria around bananas. Can you imagine? Can you imagine bananas?
we have to like contrast this. Like we're gonna post another video, sponsored by the United Fruit Company, that shows, like, it's one of those old ones that you see at the theater in the 40s. It's like your bananas come from tropical countries. Let's take a look. Oh, look, we're in Ecuador. Everything's great here. So cosmopolitan. They're all this city is so modern. Now let's take a trip out into the interior where the banana is born. And it's all like super glossy and shiny.
Yeah. And you have like happy people eating bananas, like, bananas are great.
Yeah. So to contrast that with what we're talking about, the horrible the horrible labor conditions, it was also very dangerous. There's a viper that lives. What is it, Danny? Are you still out there? The banana viper, the bearded banana viper. I think
that sounds scary as hell.
Yeah, you dead. You dead.
You dead, boy.
Yeah.
That sounds scary as hell, dog. That sounds scary as hell. But look, HB, let me tell you some more interesting stuff that was happening in the more developed countries as bananas were were making their presence be known. So there was a doctor by the name of Dr. Sidney Haas, and this was in 1924. He makes it public that bananas are good for children suffering from celiac disease.
Oh,
so
thing back then too, huh?
Yeah, apparently. So when it came out, United Fruit was like, yo, let's market the heck out of this. So boom, children got to eat bananas. And then United Fruit, they had a subsidiary called Fruit Dispatch. They published a recipe book promoting the consumption of bananas with dry cereal, suggesting in particular cornflakes with bananas and milk. So this, of course, which sounds so obvious right now, was a huge boom for consumers. And basically, cereal companies came knocking on the door of United Fruit like, yo, we got to get together, man. Bananas and cereal, Match
Right.
made in heaven.
It's funny. It's like you said, like it's such an obvious thing to us now, but someone had to invent eating bananas with the breakfast, you know?
Yeah. And then you have all those commercials like, Dennis the Menace or whatever back in 1960 where they were like, gee, Mom, I want some bananas with my cereal. And then they're all like, oh, bananas and cereal. You're like, really?
It was just all marketing. And bananas were cheap because they controlled everything. I mean, in some, like we mentioned before, they controlled the mail system, but they also controlled the power companies too, like complete control of everything in the whole country.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was insane. And I think just seeing all these videos that came out during that time, of course, they kind of tried to make it look sensational. I mean, of course, if you're living, say, I don't know where you could be living, say if you're living in Michigan or whatever, and then they're like, hey, you should eat these bananas. You're like, I don't know where these bananas come from. And they show you a video of these amazing places with these like wild forests full of happy, vibrant looking tropical people and animals eating bananas, living their best lives. You're going to be like, yo, that's good.
Yeah. And when we're doing the research, I typed in, I was like, are bananas actually good for you? Because maybe we are the product of that decades of brainwashing. And as we mentioned earlier, they really don't have that much potassium in them.
Yeah. Well, you said it was actually on the peel, right?
It's in the peel. So you can do that. I've done that with smoothies. You cut the end off, what I call the banananus. You cut that end off, and then you cut the stem side off. And before you do that, you wash it, make sure there's no pesticides and stuff on there. You can make a smoothie out of them. A lot, as with most fruits, a lot of the nutrition is found in the peel. Very full of potassium. So adding the peels to your compost heap definitely adds potassium. But in the actual fruit, the raw innards of the banana, you only get 8% of your daily vitamin requirements from a banana. They are actually, but they do have 33% of your requirements for vitamin B6. So they are nutritional. They're high in fiber, good for the stomach.
We're not saying don't eat bananas. We're not saying that at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Eat your bananas, but just keep in mind that they don't have that much potassium. As much potassium as they say.
Right. It's like potassium. It's like, the thing where the World War II, where they said that the reason why they wanted to hide the fact that the U.S. had radars, and they put out publications saying that all the pilots ate carrots and that helped them with their vision.
Have
you heard that one?
No, but I've always heard that carrots are good for your vision.
Right? It's that was the marketing thing to hide the fact that they had developed radar.
So carrots aren't good for your vision?
Carrots are very good for everything, but they're not going to make you have better vision.
Oh man! And here I was eating carrots, hoping I would get natural night vision, so I could just walk around in the dark.
That's what you need spinach for, and you turn into Popeye.
That makes sense.
We got some shout outs here. Luke Robertson is advising us that the United Fruit Company should have called it, instead of a 401k, a banana K.
A banana K.
K being the sign for potassium, coincidentally. Okay, Ralph Furlong is also tuned in. He says Bananarama. We've been listening to that all week.
Bananarama.
Venus.
Tell you, man, people love bananas. People love. You can't even say banana without smiling. You're not walking around like banana. You don't look sad.
Looks like a smile.
Banana. Hey, let me tell you something, man. I mean, one of the proudest moments of my life was when I was abroad. I was up in the Scottish Highlands. I was abroad. Yeah, that was a couple years ago. No, I was overseas. I was in the Scottish Highlands, and I went into the supermarket in the Highlands. And you know what I found in the supermarket? A banana from Panama.
So proud.
I was like, how did this banana make it here before I did, dude? How?
Was it a healthy, throbbing banana, or was it kind of shriveled up?
No, it was healthy, dude. It was Chiquita.
And see, that's another marketing thing. These guys put a little blue sticker on every single banana. That brand is like,
dude. And I'm guessing people have to do that, right? People have to put that sticker on there.
Right. It wasn't a robot back in the day.
How crazy. Oh, we have a question on the gram.
On the
Carina
ground.
wants to know what's the best way to peel a banana, HB?
From the bottom up.
Which
Like,
is the bottom?
If you watch a monkey, he doesn't go from the stem side. He flips it
No.
over to the little flower side, and you pop that side off and peel it that way. That's what
Why
I
is
do.
that? Why is that?
It takes the little strings off better, and there's a little tough pin at the bottom, aka the banananus.
Uh-huh.
There's a little tough part in there, and if you pinch that off, you stick your thumbnail in there and peel that off, you can pull that thing off, and you get less of those tart little strings.
Really? I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good to know, man. You changed the way that I peel my bananas.
RapScallions, saving lives every day.
Seriously, man. You guys are learning a lot today.
Yeah.
A whole lot. HB, can I
Yes.
tell you about that strike that took place? The Colombia strike, my friend.
Oh boy, this is a doozy. We got to talk about it. Tell us. I
So
mean, there
ba-
had been strikes elsewhere, but
Yes.
they had been subdued
Mm-hmm.
with pressure from the United States government and with coercion from the United States government. But this one's a little different. So give us a
Indeed. So let me just start off, HB, with 1928, which, as you mentioned before, workers in the banana plantations, this was in Colombia, they were demanding written contracts. They wanted 8-hour days, 6-day weeks, and the elimination of food coupons, basically. So this strike in 1928 was one of the largest labor movements ever witnessed in the country, and radical members of the Liberal Party and the members of the Socialist and Communist parties participated super strongly. Okay, the National Labor Union bigwigs traveled to the Banana Zone to organize a strike, and they were also helped by Italian and Spanish anarchist immigrants who were involved in the 1928 strike. Things got really serious, though, in 1929, because the strike was continuing. It was getting national attention since it was supported by the Liberal Party, the Conservative Party, which usually always the bad guys are from the Conservative Party. I've never heard anyone tell me something good about a Conservative Party. I don't know. I think they need to work on their marketing.
Yeah. They need the banana guys in there.
Yeah. So the Conservative Party, which is controlling the government, decides to send the army into the Banana Zone. All right. So then there was a demonstration in the main plaza of the city of Ciénaga. And here, the army, commanded by a guy named Carlos Cortés Vargas, fires on the strikers and leaves an undetermined and very disputed number of strikers dead.
And the modern number is in the thousands, like 2000s, they're guessing.
Yeah. And these were all just guys that were protesting for, just to get fair treatment.
Yeah, a written contract, actual money, and again, the United States, the United Fruit Company used its influence within the United States government, and before they could send troops, the Colombian government decided to act, and they went over there and they just started shooting everybody. That's how they handled it.
That's crazy. That is insane. Insane. All for some freaking bananas.
Well, guess what? These guys were on strike for a few months already.
Yeah.
So, and if you remember your timeline, you got to get those bananas. You have 2 weeks to get those bananas to market.
Yeah. So can you imagine the slowdown that must have been? The amount of money that was lost.
For sure. Now on our timeline, there's a mention here. It says in 1918, the United States Army intervenes in Panama and keeps a police force in the country.
Yeah. And this was... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, someone else had talked about during the construction of the canal. I think because of the canal, Panama doesn't technically qualify as a banana republic because after what happened in Bocas del Toro and the Panama disease, it wasn't until later, was it all the way in the 80s that Bocas rebounded and started back with Chiquita?
Yeah, well, I think it was, in the 30s, like you mentioned earlier, was kind of like when they had their final sort of shipment of bananas out of Almirante. And the Panama disease had just kind of like kicked the crap out of it.
Right.
So because of this, they went over to cultivate other things like cocoa and other types of things, but it's still, they never had the impact. They didn't generate the labor that bananas did. So a lot of people left for Panama City and for Colon, and basically the banana farms was just like, then in the 1950s is when they found out, that they could drown out the disease and everything. And then they started planting the new, more disease-resistant variety of bananas, which is the Cavendish. And then things there started to pick up a little bit more. And then from the 80s, which is when the United Fruit Company changed their name to Chiquita Brands, I think it's international. I think they started, I can't be wrong, but this is just kind of what I pieced together. I think that's when they started operating. So Chiquita was still operating in Bocas, but they had a company there called the Bocas Fruit Company, which is still currently there. And so they kind of do the whole banana thing, but sort of under the Chiquita Brands International. But then I think there's also other banana companies there, such as Dole but I don't know.
Fruit Company,
Yeah.
There's a lot of information to parse out for just one episode.
Yeah.
But I think you're doing a great job, Joe. You're doing a great job.
Hey, you too, man.
Keeping all the timelines together, man. This is tough stuff.
Because the thing is, there was so much crap happening. Sorry, not crap, but important stuff happening in Panama that was also happening around the region, man.
Yeah. I mean, we had World War II was going on. And, it's odd to think that the U.S. influence of the canal kept Panama from being a banana republic. It's very odd to think of things such a way. And that's conjecture on my part, but it's interesting to think about.
I mean, could you imagine if we never would have had the canal? I mean, because I think, because I guess thankfully we had that going for us.
Yeah.
Because if not, we would have just been like, yeah, man, plant some bananas.
There's another thing comes to mind, which is, I'm not making it up, but I'm postulating that, when the United States agreed with the new nation of Panama, they gave them a certain amount of money, millions of dollars, and they wanted to install a railroad. They wanted to install a railroad that ran the length of the isthmus.
Right, that's a good idea.
And the United States wouldn't let them.
No.
Right. Yeah.
Because it would have had to go through the canal.
Or it could have been a part of the El Pulpo trying to take over Panama. I don't know.
Oh, you're right. That's very true.
That was around 1905, 1906, something like that.
That's very true, man. Well, I guess, there were so many people that had, vested interest in seeing these banana plantations kind of thrive, that for them, they would have been like canal schmanal, I don't care.
Right. Get my banana money.
We get my banana money, man.
Banana hammocks.
Seriously, everybody needs a banana hammock. That's where it's at. That's where the party's at.
So let's. I've been sipping on this mead and thinking about flavors, which prompts me to talk about. We've talked about two varieties of banana, and we talked about plantains too, which are much more starchy. But as far as exportation purposes, there was the Gros Michel or Big Mike. And when that was completely devastated by the Panama disease, Panama, what is it? Panama just rolls off the tongue, huh?
I know, it just rolls. You want to add it to everything.
Panama Papers, Panama disease. Anyway, let's talk about flavors like the Cavendish.
Right.
According to, I don't know anyone who's ever tasted a Gros Michel, but
no, me neither.
According to comparisons of descriptions, the Cavendish isn't as tasty as a Gros Michel. The Gros Michel is what caused the explosion in popularity of the banana, but because it wasn't resistant to this fungus, they came up with a Cavendish, which both of them are good for transport. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for flavor. It needs to be able to be shipped. So there are better flavored bananas out there. They're just not good for transportation. That's why you don't get them in your supermarket. So when you taste like a banana candy or little maybe like a Jolly Rancher banana flavor, any type of artificial flavoring, you taste it
Uh-huh.
like this doesn't taste like banana. The
Uh-huh.
reason is because that flavor profile was based on the Gros Michel and not the Cavendish. So
So then so then the Gros Michel tasted like banana candy.
right, or the banana candy approximated that flavor as opposed to what we currently know as a banana, which is the Cavendish. Now, all the
Right.
Panameños out there know you've got the finger bananas out there. Danny Norman mentioned the manzanos. There's the Panama, when they don't know what to call it, they just call it a guineo chino.
Uh-huh.
I actually have some in my yard. That one's square, and when it's young, you can use it as a plantain, and when it gets ripe, it tastes like banana. It's sweet like a banana.
Right.
It's a regular plantain. It's very starchy, and then you usually have to cook it in order to eat it.
Ah. How interesting.
Yes.
Do you
Sir.
think how would we ever get our hands on a Gros Michel?
I think there's people out there looking for them. But I mean, there's bananas out there that taste better. It's just that they're not good for transport, so they don't attract the interest of these cultivars.
Truth. And so now we just have the Cavendish.
Everyone's eating the Cavendish, and I have two dwarf Cavendish, and these are actually a delicious variety. My neighbor brought them to me. They have like a citrusy taste to them. So you have the banana flavor, and they're kind of citrusy, very delicious.
You know what I was thinking about the other day? Because I was thinking about the show, and I was thinking how we always like to try and have like in the past we've made like specific cocktails for the shows that we do and everything. And I was thinking like, man, we should have like a banana cocktail. Are there banana cocktails?
Sure, there are.
Yeah, which ones? I don't think I've ever had a banana cocktail.
Me neither. But we do have a question from Reynaldo Royo, fan of the show. He's always tuning in. He's like, do you prefer refrigerated or room temperature? I prefer room temperature. But if I'm gonna throw them in a blender, I'll throw them in the fridge. And if you throw them in the freezer, they get creamier. So you can dip them in chocolate, and they get super creamy when they defrost.
But you know what doesn't work for me? If I put it in oatmeal, because sometimes I'll make my oatmeal and I'll cut up a banana and I'll put it on there. But last time I did it, I was just like, this doesn't work for me.
It doesn't work for you? You don't like it? I like eating the banana by itself, and I like finger bananas. Those are my favorite ones. As far as drinks, we can send that to the research department. We do have some advice from Luke Robertson. He's always helping out with finance, not only finance, but also this one applies to fishing. You should never, ever, 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 Joe, take bananas on a fishing trip.
Oh, snap. I've heard that's no bueno.
No bueno. And you would get called a salao for ruining the trip.
Salao.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Man, that's cray. You heard it here first, folks.
That's
Don't
true.
take bananas on a fishing trip.
Don't take bananas on a fishing trip.
Don't take bananas on a fishing trip. HB.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
I was just going to ask the crowd if they have any recipes for banana-flavored cocktails. I know there's banana liqueur.
Indeed.
It's very tasty.
You are right. You are correct. No, I just wanted to tell you the story of an executive from the United Fruit Company.
Oh my goodness, this is a good one.
Who didn't really have a very good time with his life, unfortunately, man. And of course, I'm talking about Eli Black.
Mm-hmm.
Eli Black. So Eli Black was, as I mentioned before, he was a top executive at the United Fruit Company. He was in there dealing and shaking and moving and shaking and making moves and just making things happen. But Eli Black, he made some bad business decisions. You know what I'm saying? People weren't expecting this. He had bribed the Honduran president. This was in the 1970s, by the way, 1975. He bribed the Honduran president, Oswaldo López Arellano, with $1.25 million to encourage him to pull out of a banana cartel, which opposed United Fruit.
Yeah.
Okay, this was a bananigans. This was straight up hashtag bananigans because he was trying to influence a government in favor of United Fruit. And as it happens sometimes, the story was about to come out in the press, man. You know, and this was going to look really bad for Eli Black. And then on top of that, United Fruit Central America plantations were also struggling with hurricane damage and the banana disease, the Panama disease. So, I mean, Eli was in a terrible state right now. He was like, man, people are going to find out that I am trying to act like some corrupt mofo. My plantations aren't doing that great. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So Eli, on the 3rd of February, 1975, threw himself out of his office window 44 floors above Park Avenue, New York. He smashed the window with his briefcase, threw it out before he leapt. Scattered papers all over, and he just jumped, and he landed away from the road near the Postal Service office.
Joe, what if he was getting ready to go home from work, and some ne'er-do-well, some evil agent put a banana peel by his window, and he slipped and fell out the window?
That would be an irony. That would be ironic.
Ironies.
Yes, that would be very ironic. But I think all accounts say that he jumped out the window because he was very scared that this would come out. And I guess he figured he had no way out of it other than to kill himself. People were super surprised, though, because they were like, man, this guy's like super like devoted to his family. He's like a cool dude. He's has morals or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I guess, you know, when it comes to banana business, there's no morals in banana business, man.
There's all kinds of CIA involvement in that. Overthrow of governments. This guy's outright bribing an elected official, which was probably installed by the United Fruit Company anyway. Mm-hmm. So, you know, what we're trying to get at here is that El Pulpo, there was no boundaries for El Pulpo. And
no.
I want to roll back the clock to 1954.
Roll it back, my friend.
A colonel named Jacobo Arbenz Guzman was elected, and he started land reform, where he was taking back these huge plots of land and giving them back to the people. Mm-hmm. And he also took back the mail system, and he started all these things to try and give the people the rights that they had been protesting about.
Of course.
And in 1954, the U.S.-backed forces, commissioned by Eisenhower and the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, started an operation called Operation PB Success, where they threw
peanut
out
butter
these
success.
Guys. Yeah, PB and J, right? They just overthrew the guy. The guy left. He turned down his position as the president.
What? Yeah, because he felt intimidated by them.
Of course, dude. They were going to kill him.
Man, that's tragic, dude.
They were going to make him slip on a banana peel forever.
Man, yeah, for life. That's tragic. That's tragic. That is really sad. It's like, come on, man. Just leave people alone. Let them get on with their lives. You know, we know you love your bananas, but just do your banana stuff wherever it is you're going to do it. Just don't do it here, man. Just don't do it here.
Right. And he's like, well, what we're going to do is give this land back to the people, and then you have to buy the bananas back from them.
Yeah.
And then along the way, he was some reports say that the population of Guatemala was like 3% communist, and he associated himself in a small way with the communist, someone who was involved in the Communist Party. And then there was someone in the Catholic Church, an archbishop of the area, completely defamed him and said that he was a communist leader, and boom, CIA jumped in, kicked his butt out.
Wow.
All for bananas.
Wow. That's crazy, man. That is insane. And the CIA, man, you think they would know better, but I guess they were just trying to get, you know, all the communists that they could, because I guess the entire world was communist at the time.
There are
And
looking in retrospect, the United States has failed Cold War policy. They're because of what happened after World War II, then
mm,
of course Korea and Vietnam and whatnot. The United States feared any possibility of communism and figured we would rather have some a-hole dictator who mistreats everyone in power, but who's a
yeah,
friend of ours. And if this
yeah,
sounds like Panama, it should, because if he's on our payroll, we can control him.
we control him.
Right.
How
Disturbing.
crazy! Very disturbing, man. Very disturbing. But hey, HB, I think before earlier in the show we talked about the music and the cultural impact of bananas. So just trying to touch a bit on that, just to discuss some of the songs that were influenced by bananas during the time of the banana plantations and when they were all, I guess, in their strongest form. Of course, we already talked about the song "Yes, We Have No Bananas," which I think we can agree is a super popular song that probably everybody in the world knows. One of the things, so this was supposedly about like a shopkeeper, and he was saying, "Yes, we have no bananas," because of the Panama disease.
Oh, I did not know that.
So he was like, "Yes, we have no bananas because there's no bananas because they're all dead because of the Panama disease." I didn't know that. That's crazy.
While we're dissecting songs, let's go to the Deo Banana Boat.
Oh, you read my mind. Go ahead, my
Everyone
friend.
loves this song. Deo, Deo, daylight come
Come
me
on, me want go home. Yes.
So one of the things he's saying is daylight come and we want to go home. Some of the shifts of the banana workers were over 24 hours. If they had to get out there and deliver because of that 2-week time frame, sometimes you work for 24 hours. So this guy's saying daylight come and we want to go home. He's like, he's been there forever. And and he's waiting for the tally man to come and count the bananas that he's brought in.
That's right. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and we want to go home.
Work all night and a drink of rum.
Yeah. I guess if working conditions would have been better, then I would have been like, I'm working and I get to drink some rum and come and count my bananas.
I mean, we all think of this song with a pretty deep affection because it's very catchy and it's easy to sing. But when you look at the lyrics, you actually and taking into consideration all the things we've been talking about since the beginning of the show, you see that this is a protest song. Work all night and drink a rum. You had your coupons, you could buy liquor, and that's about it. It talks about lift 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. So the bunches of bananas could be up to 100 pounds and be 8 feet long, and you had to carry that for 24 hours.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Here we go. Here's another one. A beautiful bunch of ripe banana. Hide the deadly black tarantula.
Daylight, man.
Me want
go home. Man, it was dangerous, man. It was dangerous working in the banana plantations. I mean, not only just because the conditions were terrible, but you could also get, attacked by animals, by the tarantulas, or by the freaking banana viper that you said earlier, which sounds terrible, and I never want to see a picture of one of those in my life because I'm pretty sure it would scare the crap out of me. But then I also read during the research that apparently some of the pesticides that they were using to kill, bichos and all sorts of nasty, creepy crawlies, they were harmful for human beings, man. And you know how it started. You know how when we started out with pesticides and things, we didn't really care. I mean, the scientists that were elaborating these pesticides weren't in the fields working, so they were like, "Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah, this will kill the bugs, no problem."
Yeah, and then you're giving all the workers terrible diseases, cancer, whatever have you, man. Where all these insecticides and stuff. I mean, come on.
You got the research departments come back with some information on the banana viper.
Oh my gosh, is it super scary?
Bothriachus schlegeli. Gelii,
Huh.
I don't know. Okay, so it's an eyelash viper. It's actually very beautiful. If you guys are out there and Google it, you'll see it's a beautiful animal.
A ver,
It
I'm gonna
says
Google it.
the eyelash viper delivers hemotoxic venom which easily kills small animals by destroying the blood cells and blood vessels. Snakes swallow the prey in one
Oh, I
case.
don't want to see that. I don't want to. I don't want to see one of those things, man.
The
That's
bite
scary.
can be very painful and fatal to humans. Eyelash
That's
vipers
scary.
will attack humans only in self-defense.
That's
Well,
scary, and it's
well,
yellow.
it's
That's
beautiful.
scary. That's
Beautiful
scary.
animal. We
Scary.
do we're a little more afraid of snakes than we should be.
Yeah.
They do get a bad rap. Most of the snakes out there won't kill you.
Hey, did you see Anaconda? Did you see Anaconda?
You're gonna be in a world of hurt though.
Hmm. I don't know, man. If for some reason, if I'm walking in my house and I see that yellow snake in my house, I will jump out the window. Man, that is a scary snake, man.
You gotta
Don't
get over
even-
that fear, brother.
Oh my gosh. I mean, maybe if I saw it, I don't know, but just looking at it in the picture, I'm like, no, I don't want to be your friend.
Snakes
I don't wanna be
snakes
your
have
friend.
feelings too.
I know, man. I'm sorry. If there's any snakes listening, I'm sorry. It's not personal.
It's not personal. It's just, an ingrained fear over thousands of years of being bitten.
Hey, man, but did you see Anaconda, man? That snake was trying to kill Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez, man. That can't be a good snake if it's trying to kill Ice Cube.
Yeah. Maybe he just didn't like rap music.
I think so. I think it's more like a musical taste than anything
Musical
else.
taste. Do you know one of the benefits that the banana workers did not get?
What?
Retirement.
Well, because they would probably die before they retired, right?
Exactly.
Or they would
That's
just
something-
work until they die.
Yeah, until you couldn't work anymore, and there's no retirement plan there. But
Mm-mm.
if you are retiring and you don't know what to do, maybe you should call a financial planner.
Hey, let me tell you something, HB. Dreaming up the ideal retirement, my friend, that is your job. But helping you get there is someone else's job. And you know whose job that is, HB?
Tell us, Joe.
Luke Robertson, financial advisor over at Edward Jones. Listen, man, you're trying to get your kids to college. You're putting them through college. You save all that money to go to college, and then you want to give yourself some time to be able to relax and enjoy the fact that you do not have to raise those children anymore.
That's
So
right.
when you
Get outta here.
retire,
Empty nest.
that's right, man. And you know what? You got your best years ahead of you. You can do whatever you want. You can reinvent yourself as a DJ in Ibiza. That's very popular.
Really?
And you will only do that, HB,
Right.
by having a good retirement plan.
Indeed.
So you got to call. You got to call Luke Robertson. Hit him up in the continental US 757-481-0023 or send them an email over at luke.robertson@edwardjones.com. HB. And before you know it, once your children have left the house, you're going to be in Ibiza, being a
Ibiza.
DJ at a nightclub, just like spinning the discs. And then your kids are going to be like, Dad, why don't you talk to me? I need help. And you're going to be like, shut up. I gave you 20 years of my life.
That's right. Yo soy
I'm gonna
disquero en
enjoy
Ibiza, hijo. No jodas. No jodes.
Joder.
Joder. You can do anything you want, man. Retirement is not the end. It's just the next
No, it is
step.
not.
And your first step after the
Exactly.
next step is to call Luke Robertson.
That's right, man. That's the in-between. That's the in-between right there,
It's the
man.
in-between.
Holler at Luke. He'll set you up, man. He'll set you straight.
Indeed.
He'll set you
Indeed
straight.
he will. So what have we left anything out? I mean, I think we've given a nice umbrella. This is a primer about El Pulpo. El Pulpo, which was the United Fruit Company. If you look at the political cartoons of the time, you just see the octopus head coming out of the Caribbean Ocean, and every country has a tentacle on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what we've tried to do is just give you an overview. We'll recommend some books. Again, there's a Panamanian author, Stanley Hecadon Moreno, and his book is called A Creole from Bocas del Toro, the story of Carlos Reed, that was published in 2011. It is available in hardback on Amazon. Check that out. There's several books that describe the United Fruit Company Empire. Just search them on Amazon Books, and
Mm-hmm.
if we dedicated the rest of our lives to studying this, we'd have content forever. But we're just humble rapscallions. We wanted to bring you
No
something
doubt.
interesting.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's pretty when you look at it, you just I mean, bananas are just bananas, man. I mean, that's the way I always thought about it. I was like, yeah, bananas. They're such a fruit that makes such people happy. But then reading and learning and studying, even the song, man, Deo,
Yeah.
you sing it and you're like, I'm so happy, Deo. Ah. But then you're just like, whoa,
It's
like, deep,
deep. Now that we've ruined breakfast for you,
deep,
yeah, very deep.
deep,
And
man.
when we're talking about possible topics for the show, we're throwing things around, and then it was like, oh, bananas, and then we started doing the research, and it's just like, oh my god,
Mm.
my goodness, all these incredible things, like these infamous things that happened uh, due to the reach of the United Fruit Company, and they're still around. Chiquita.
Yeah, still around. And Chiquita is very well loved. I mean, people think of Chiquita Banana and they just associate it with the sticker, which is the lady, right? Which is the Carmen Miranda image of like, oh, Chiquita Banana.
Exactly.
Yeah, Chiquita Banana. Oh, Del Monte. Oh, yeah, Dole. Oh, yeah. And you just think about how great it is and how innocent it is, but then you just like, man, this was hardcore. There were a lot of situations and issues that happened for us to get to where we are today. That, I mean, if we would have had to live those things, we'd have been like, man, I don't like bananas.
Yeah.
Bananas are ruining people's lives.
Yeah, and as it pertains to Panama, there was a railroad in Chiriqui and Bocas del Toro just for bananas.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I think I haven't been to Changuinola in years, man. Years. But I think back when it was properly thriving
Mm-hmm.
from bananas and everything, it was a pretty sweet setup over there, right? Is what I would guess. I don't know.
I've never been to Bocas del Toro. Every time Bocas comes up in my family, it was a banana town, so it wasn't a tourist destination as I grew up. Now, I mean, it's absolutely booming as a
tourist destination. But this is Bocas del Toro, Isla Colón, in those areas, in the islands.
Right.
But Changuinola, I mean, I remember when I went, it was just all about the bananas. And then just reading about it, there's a lot of indigenous communities that live in the area, which end up working in the banana plantations.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's very interesting because then you have these people, which I guess if the banana companies that never come, which just kind of have lived their lives, but then all of a sudden they get put in a situation where it's you either work for me or you don't do anything.
Yeah, and they completely controlled everything and really didn't have an option, right?
Yeah, which is very interesting. Which is because, I mean, like I said, when I was reading about this, I was thinking about the mining companies that are in Panama. And I know some mining companies, they try to get back to the communities around there, right? And like build schools and they build roads and they build all those things. But I'm guessing, and they do whatever, like sustainable mining or whatever. But I guess eventually, like imagine, when the Panama disease hit, all these banana plantations were devastated, like Bocas, devastated,
Yeah.
So with mining, it'll eventually get to a point where there's nothing else to mine, right?
Yeah, if they go deeper than technology allows, then they'll move elsewhere.
And then what happens to those sites? They
some people. I was listening to the radio the other day, and one of the people on there was saying that, that mining area can be turned into a natural lake, and that becomes a tourist destination. I was like, and I was thinking in my head, was like, what about all the arsenic? Like,
right?
I'd applied for a job at the copper mine, and it was kind of interesting to me, and I was a bit conflicted because, the rainforest, you're completely devastating the rainforest. But part of me, thinking of my great grandfather worked on the construction of the Panama Canal, thought maybe
Mm,
I could be a part of something similar to that, because
mm,
you'd be essentially creating a city,
mm.
you'd be creating a whole port, it would be like creating its own little country out in the middle of nowhere. So
Yeah,
there was the being enticed by that type of adventure, that type of grand scale production. But
for
in
sure.
the end, I said no, because I went out there and I saw the pools of arsenic at the neighboring gold mine, and it's like these guys really aren't interested in helping the community. They're just going to take the gold, and Panama isn't
Mm,
getting much of those riches. I'm sure certain people are, but
yeah.
people aren't. And as far as work, there was a strike, and all the Panamanian workers were fired. And a couple of years ago, I heard that they brought in all Filipino workforce. So there's not even
Wow,
Panamanians working out
really?
there.
Man, that's hardcore. That's hardcore. I don't know. It's very interesting because you would like to think it's like kind of when people say like the profits of the Panama Canal are for the benefit of the entire country and all those things, but then sometimes you think I guess I would think that the profits of the mining are for the benefit of the whole country and all that, but then you still kind of think of like the public school system and the
That's the
prison
thing.
systems and
Exactly.
all that, and you're like,
12% of the profits from the canal are supposed to go to the education system.
yeah,
Very dubious of that.
yeah. And then they're like, well, we're building a school in the community. Fine, but the school that you're building in the community is a school that looks just like the other public schools in the area. So what are you actually giving the community? I don't know.
Right.
I'm confused. I'm conflicted.
It is. It's very conflicting. And this show, now that we've ruined breakfast for everyone, we've talked about how these banana companies have ruined countries. And the CEO of the company actually felt so horrible about it, he threw himself out a window. I did listen to an interview where some of the descendants of Keith in Costa Rica,
Oh, really?
they interviewed them and they asked him, like, do you see this man as a like do you see him as a antagonist or as a bad guy? He's like, absolutely not. I think we should have more people that, because I do have to play the devil's advocate a little bit. This guy Keith did not give up no matter what happened.
Right, right.
The true test of success is tenacity. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, if it gets to the point where you're overthrowing governments, maybe you've gone too far. It's just keep that as a litmus to Joe. We're the RapScallions. Eventually, we're going to be super famous, winning Oscars.
That's
But
right.
if we ever get to the point where we're overthrowing a government, we need to do a little self-check, a little
That's true.
self-time, a little mirror time. Stand in front of the mirror. Joe, do we really want to overthrow a government?
I mean, because I guess, it'll be hard to really justify that.
Yeah. And if you are in support of overthrowing governments, please visit our webpage, PanamaRP.com. We have a Patreon button there where you can buy us a beer. There's also a buy me a coffee button. You press that button. Slowly but surely, we'll raise the funds to overturn your country of choice.
Yes.
And we'll also write songs about it if you sponsor us.
We'll do an entire album detailing how we overthrew a specific government.
Yeah. The country that we're going to take over is the country of boredom. You don't want to be bored.
No, you
You
don't.
want to tune in every Sunday at 3 p.m.
That's right.
RapScallions are always coming up with interesting things. We got some interesting thing cooking that we can't talk about yet.
Can't talk about it.
We're going to break out of the studio soon.
We are, man, because we got to go out to the people. Got to give the people what they want.
We gotta mix up with the people. Let's go back to the mead. We've been sipping. I've been taking notes here. And have you formed a favorite? Do you have an opinion?
I think my favorite so far has been, so we have the first one, which is kind of like the starchy potato peel one.
All right.
I have the second one, which is the fruity one, which is, I don't know if it's passion fruit, but I don't know what it is, but I like it. The second one. And then we have the third one, which is
poetic
olives.
license and say that it tastes like bananas.
It tastes like bananas. So I think if I had to pick which one my favorite is, I would have to say it's the second one.
Yeah,
All of them are good,
all of them are good. Yeah.
but I would say the second one.
For me, I like the aromas of number 2,
Mm-hmm.
but number 3 is my favorite as far as flavors. The first thing you taste is honey, great mouthfeel, and it's surprisingly not as sweet as I expect it to be.
You're right, yeah, because you do taste that honey, and it does kind of linger for a while.
Yeah. So if you could somehow take the aromas from number 2, put them on number 3, and you got the RapScallions endorsement. Yeah, for you guys who don't know what's going on, one of our friends made some meat, and he's asking us to do a taste test on air, figure out which one we like best, and hopefully be able to roll out a product based on our educated tongues.
That's right, man. Hey, because if anybody's got educated tongues, it's us, man. Seriously.
He also warned us after we started the taste test that these are 15% alcohol by volume.
Yes.
So if we mispronounce the CIA somehow, please forgive us.
But it's good, man. Chechi, thank you so much for allowing us this great honor.
That's true. Anyone out there, we've got 5 minutes left in the show. Is there anyone out there who's got some last minute questions? Let us know. Again,
or thoughts.
You share your opinions and your thoughts. Last time, Luke Robertson, you can reach him. He's a financial advisor. You can reach him at 757-481-0023 or at his email, luke.robertson@edwardjones.com. Look at that picture. That's people enjoying their retirement on the beach. That's what you want to do. You don't want to be unhappy with your retirement.
You don't want to be unhappy. You want to be at the beach or in a mountaintop or in the snow somewhere, but just somewhere where you want to be when you retire.
Use your money for yourself. Put that money to work. Joe, can you wrap us up with some words of wisdom? Some banana-based words of wisdom.
Banana-based words of wisdom. HB, throughout this week, I thought I knew everything I had to know about bananas. But after reading and investigating, I found out that bananas have a dark, terrible past. However, as is life, we have to learn from the past. We have to learn from the mistakes of those that came before us, because if not, history will repeat itself.
True.
And we've seen that time after time.
Time after time.
So I guess my message to everyone is this, today we've given you guys some extra knowledge, some extra information. We're not telling you guys stop eating bananas. No, because, they're delicious and you like them and you want to eat them. But just consider the history of the banana and think about what you can do to not allow things like that to happen again moving forward. Because it only takes one person to make a change.
Absolutely. You could be the spark. You could be the enzyme that creates change. All the different shows that we've done, we keep repeating. We talked about the watermelon war. We've talked about the French Canal. We've talked about the American Canal, and how if we don't learn from those past mistakes, and Panama is making them again with their concessions to the new railroad and their concessions to Panama ports. We're not learning from our past. So we hope that we've piqued your interest. We've only scratched the surface of the banana history.
That's right.
And hopefully you'll be intrigued enough to go out and find a book and read about it, or go on to YouTube and find a documentary about it, because
there's loads.
You could dedicate a PhD studying this and still not understand the whole thing. Again, we want to shout out to Franz Quo, who directed us to the book by Stanley Hecadon, A Creole from Bocas del Toro, the story of Carlos Reed, 2011. And from what I've read so far, the excerpt that we were sent is outstanding. So I'm do my best to get a hold of that just for my own private library.
Totally.
Library. See the Meads kick.
Library.
Ronaldo Royo asked, did you mention how to view past episodes? On this same webpage, our RapScallions Facebook page, there's a tab that says videos, and you can scroll down and see all the previous episodes. Also, our base of operations is PanamaRP.com.
Mhm.
There's little buttons for Instagram, for Facebook, and for YouTube. That's another way you can watch past episodes. Um, we prefer if you watch on YouTube because we're in the vertical position, and then on YouTube, it's in the horizontal position. So we're real skinny on there. But on Facebook, we'll fill up your whole phone.
No doubt.
Soon, we've been talking about it forever. We're going to be extracting the audio and putting it into podcast form so that you can listen to us while you're driving.
Mhm.
And I think that'll probably be the best format in the future for going over past episodes.
That's right.
Okay, so it's 4:59. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Again, we're here every Sunday at 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out PanamaRP.com. We got tons of merch. Check out our tote. Look at this. We got a tote.
Tote.
That's Totally Joe, and this is Totally HB.
That's right. And we got t-shirts and mobile phone covers. Loads of stuff.
Loads of stuff. Lots of fun. If you guys have any ideas for a show that you want us to do about Panama, about the Canal Zone, or maybe another topic that you've been interested in, please let us know. If you can't press the Patreon button on our website or the Buy Me a Coffee button, why don't you share us on your Facebook page? That helps us a lot.
No doubt. No doubt. Spread the word.
Spread the word. Spread the word. So thank you so much, everyone. It's 5 p.m. That wraps up our show for today. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, HB.
What an incredible amount of research we've done, and hopefully you guys we've piqued your interest in the whole banana shenanigans that happened not only in Panama but in Central America and South America.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Peace. Bye.
Bye-bye.
J-O-E in the place to be. HB on the track, it's like ecstasy. Rowing a well of 7 years, what we drink and be. Trying to sling the dopest rhymes in the galaxy. Let me take a minute though and relax your mind. Sometimes these words can be hard to find. 24/7 on that daily grind. Hearing voices in my head, man, they not that kind. Cause bitches be bitching, snitches keep snitching. The world keeps turning, and I keep hitching a ride. Instead of living my life. Yo,
Man, when you feel hungry, don't you have to eat?
yo, pump up the volume and digest this beat.
RapScallions in the house with this lyrical treat.
When we're done with you, you're gonna ice your feet.
If the world ends tomorrow and you had one chance,
Hey yo, would you start the move like it's your last dance?
yo, do something small in the past and present changes.
Do something now, the future rearranges.
Cause bitches keep bitching.
Yo, snitches keep snitching.
The world keeps turning.
And you start living your life instead of hitching a ride. RapScallions.